G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires, the second one for the year 2025. Are we going to do that for every video? Do we just introduce, these videos are numbered now? Well, not really. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. A pleasure to have your company as we've got ourselves an incredible match today. Two of the world's best players, current rank number 2 on the ladder, up against current rank number 10 on the ladder. Let's introduce them. In the south of the map, in the color green, playing as the French, opening us up with a second scout. He is the one and only Expo Abuser, aka Puppy Paw. And in the north of the map, up against a Rus player, playing in the orange color. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Nimudan. Welcome to Dry Arabia. A pleasure to have your company here today. It's a balanced map, but is it going to be a balanced game? Because I've got a sneaky suspicion we may see some professional scouts out today. Because not only have we got 2 scouts coming out early on here from our French player, but we also have scouts being made from the side of Nimudan. And with the current strength of, professional scouts, it will really be no surprise to any of you that I suspect this is going to be a double professional scout game. The question in my mind, though, is where do you go after that? Because it's one of those, it's a really interesting conundrum that these players have got, because you can go professional scouts, or rather, you can let your enemy go professional scouts, but if you don't go that professional scout route, then all of a sudden, your enemy has got a lot more food than you. A significant amount of food, much more food than you do. And so you kind of feel like you have to go professional scouts. And we saw that in the last game. We saw that in game 1 of 2025 with Beastie, where despite playing the English, he still went professional scout. What's going on with my words? I gotta take a drink. Hold on. Give me a second here. I have my head's not quite caught up to my mouth just yet. Maybe if I get an energy drink in there, it'll fix it up. Give me a second here. Okay. That should do it. Now, you did hear me say energy drink. You might be wondering what it is. We've got a new one here for you today. I don't know about you folks in the States, but I know you guys over in Germany will be familiar with Aldi. At Aldi, it's a supermarket where they kind of just knock everything off. At least in Australia, that's the way that it goes. So we've got Wheat Bix, but then they have like Wheat Biscuits at Aldi. And anyway, they've got a drink. The drink is called Flying Power. It's basically a Red Bull knockoff. And it's a lot cheaper. In Australia, we pay $2.50 a can for Red Bull, and for Flying Power, you pay 99 cents. So I can tell you right now that it's good value. It's good value. I thought I'd give it a try out because it's the passion fruit flavor. Anyway, that's the little update. Hopefully that allows the tongue to catch up, or the brain to catch up to the tongue, because it does move quite quick sometimes. Age ups are coming through, though. Nimudan with the golden gate in the back of the base. Meanwhile, on the south side of the map, we do see Puppy Paw making his way into a school of cavalry. So my expectation here is that we would see Puppy Paw go into professional scouts and then probably look to play a standard style of the French, which is a second town center. And we do see that here. On the side of Nimudan, I would expect that you would see professional scouts into a standard Rus style, which would be a castle age. From there, I don't really know what way it goes down, though, because it's going to depend on the units that you're making. It's going to depend on the aggression that you've gotten. More importantly, about how much of the hunt you can secure. So we'll wait and see exactly what the plan is, but as I said, my suspicion here is that, well, interestingly, Nimudan's got quite a bit of gold in the bank, and keep in mind, he does have access to tickets, so he might look to sell wood to buy gold and then research his professional scouts. So it is at 275 at the moment, so we'll pay attention to these resources at the top. You can see he's got that single ticket in the bank at the moment. Scout is working down the hunting cabin for now, but I'm very curious to see the direction that he goes, because he's got no vills on gold at the moment. But still, 160. He might just be looking to go into the wooden fortress. That could be the play. Meanwhile, on the side of, have a look at this. Have a look at this. Puppy Paw not even going into professional scouts. Instead, going to be going into wheelbarrow. And then he's got 119 gold, just enough for one night to look to put pressure on the enemy. He's playing a very standard game here. There's the professional scouts, though, so we weren't really surprised by it. 150 gold is made, so I suspect he's probably sold some wood on the side of Nimudan. So Nimudan's going to open up with professional scouts. Of course, this is definitely going to play into the civilization bonus that he's got, where scouts can be made from your hunting cabins. It feels really good playing with professional scouts as the Rus. But we do see the wooden fortress is now going to start to come up. He's got one Vill working it down. A couple more scouts over on this east side as Puppy Paw's abuse of the crossbow is not yet seen in the 3rd age, as he does only just reach the 2nd age. But the School of Cavalry shall start producing shortly. There it is, the knight now on the way for him. So he'll be looking to try and control the hunts here. I almost certainly suspect, yeah, so you can see he's rallied towards this top side of the base. He's up against triple scout, so he's going to be looking quadruple scout. He's going to be looking to try and take these scouts out before they can get too much of this hunt secured. Of course, this isn't going to be the only hunt that they're after, but you can see that Puppy Paw is in position, immediate, just looking to try and find those scouts, see where they're at, and you can see him trying to pick off this wolf here. He knows that it could be problematic. Meanwhile, the scout comes around the backside. Puppy Paw down to that last single scout, so if he loses it, he loses all vision up here. So he does need to be mindful of those enemy scouts. Survival techniques now going to be coming through for Numidan as well. The knight making its way across the map. Enough resources in the bank here for the town center. He's going to look to, instead of picking up professional scouts, just look to put the town center down on top of the existing hunt. And this is a nice little spot that he's got. He could have gone back behind over here, which is 100% safe, but instead looks to try and take this spot. It's also quite easy to wall it, because one of the risks you do run is that the enemy still tries to snipe them, and that's definitely possible considering how many scouts they've got and how easy they are to make. So you can see Numidan going up to 7 scouts very, very soon. He's coming back now. A couple carcasses actually dropped down as the scouts going to be running for dear life. You can see the spearmen now looking to meet them on that top side. Not going to be able to find too much luck here, as that knight is, of course, very strong. But the opening for Puppy Paw, pretty standard one here. The one knight into the second town center. And I like this. I think it makes a lot of sense. Mainly because if you delay that second town center, you're delaying your boom. So if you went into professional scouts here, I don't know if he would have had enough tempo, you know, in about the 10th minute, 11th minute, that sort of region, but you can see exactly what the play is here for him. So he's looking to wall up on this south side. He knows in his head he's got time, because on the side of Numidan wants to secure his own hunts, and then he wants to look to try and deny the enemy hunts. But we don't see him moving out just yet towards that enemy side of the map. Still 7 deer over here on this top side. We're right on board with Puppy Paw once again. See exactly what he spots. Because keep in mind, he's going to be able to track this deer pack, and he will be watching, he'll be waiting, and he'll be very attentive to the numbers that are in it, because naturally he knows that once these deer are gone, those scouts are going to be heading towards the enemy. I take it all back. I take it all back. I take it all back. Numidan is... It's the great venison theft of 2025. It's our first one. It's technically not the first one. I did actually read the YouTube comments for the last video, and somebody said, Drongo, you did miss it. There was a little bit of thievery in it. Now the scouts going to be looking to try and dive underneath the town center. Puppy Paw getting his venison stolen from out underneath him. 2 of them going to be going the way. 3 of them going to be going the way as well. And Puppy Paw not even spotting this out as the deer. Now, one of the things that Numidan should be doing is just placing the deer out over here and then coming back and looking to try and secure the rest of these deer from the stealth forest. That's one of the tactics used, and it can be very painful when the enemy does that, especially when they hide a deer, because it still shows on the minimap. You're like, where is that dang deer? Meanwhile, on the south side, it looks like this wall has been shut down. Puppy Paw gonna have to think about getting units out to defend his own hunt. He's lost 3 of those deer already. Interesting decision by Numidan to go so aggressive, but I guess it makes sense realistically, right? The reason why we go for our first deer pack early is just to secure food. The second deer pack, it's not as necessary, right? Like, you don't have to be coming out here immediately. You can delay this, because this is 2,500 food underneath your town center compared to, you know, this, which is 5k. It's going to take you a while to get through 2,500. But speaking of food, High Trade House now going to start coming up. Knight going to spot these horsemen out, doing plenty of damage here. Second Knight looking to join them as well. He's going to spot out a couple of vills here and going to try and pick them off. You can see he's running his way through, but the Knights are doing decent DPS. Once again, chasing away these horsemen, and the wall looks to come up. Meanwhile, Puppy Paw slowly securing up the external position on his base. 2 farms coming down along the edge of the map here. The last deer remaining. Obviously, he's lost quite a bit. I don't know how much he actually saw that got stolen away, but I'm sure he suspects something happened, because he wouldn't have wanted to be on farms this early. You can see the Vills having a little bit of trouble here. He's only got about 4 deer back here. Poor guy. Poor guy. He's had all of his deer stolen. So this is going to give Numidan a great little advantage in the early Castle Age. And leading in from this, it's going to mean that he should have the ability to pick up relics here. I'm curious to see the direction he plays, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually just going to be horse archers. Could also go down the crossbow route. That would be the other option. Horse archers, crossbows, both make sense here. I'd be more tempted to go horse archers, though, just because you want to try and keep a mobile army going. You want to try and take those relics out. Horse archers are going to do well to help you secure that. Let's take a look and see. He's already got spears out, so it might just be crossbows that he goes into. But now looking to get walls up on his side, aware that the enemy has got a large amount of cav on the map. It's going to be horse archers that he moves into at this stage of the game. And we hear the boar getting pulled now for Puppy Paw. He's going to lose a Vil. We spotted it. Tell you what. Not every day you get to see one of the world's best players lose a Vil to the boar. Even at 10 minutes, it's still, it's one of those things where it's like, for the rest of this game, this villager was going to be gathering 40 resources a minute. And we're 10 minutes in now, so if it's an hour long, that's 50 minutes. So you've just lost 50 times 40. That's 2,000 resources. And by the end of the game, that's a lot of units. You know, you're talking about, what, 8 knights? 8 knights is a lot of difference between 0 knights and 8 knights. I'd much rather have 8 knights. All right, well, the wall slowly being secured on the west side. The east side is almost up as well. Interestingly, pulls the Vils through to the other side so that he can complete it. Only one little pillar left remaining at the edge here. You can see he's going to try and get around, but the wall gets immediately completed. And that's going to be all she wrote here for Puppy Paw's cavalry. Meanwhile, relics is going to be the next focus. Expect there's the monastery. In fact, there's the double monastery now coming up for Numidan. So he's going to look to try and take control of the relics. 4 available for him. The 5th one, of course, safe behind the walls. A single archer stands guard for the moment. Meanwhile, towards that top side, Cav continues to be chased around in circles inside the base of Numidan. Scout going to go down. It's going to leave Puppy Paw with not a whole lot of vision here. And the horse archers going to try and finish off this Cav. Meanwhile, we're right on board with Numidan. He does have the open, well, the front of the base open, so realistically, Puppy Paw can just run through underneath the town center, and he's fine. Doesn't actually lose the units. Archer's also going to be brought up just in case. The numbers continue to build here for Puppy Paw. He could look for a Castle Age himself, but he wants to try and find that timing. The economy for him is quite good here. He's up 19 villagers at this stage of the game, which is a very comfortable amount, and this is to be expected playing the French, and this is part of the reason why this early TC feels so good as the French. He was able to get that aggression out with the single knight and then fall back on a couple of units here. The question's going to be about whether Numidan's going to be able to punish it, but you've got to remember that the fact that Numidan went into the double monastery, so not just a single monastery, a double monastery, he's paying the full price for these warrior monks. These are expensive. This is a lot of resources that he's just spent on units that are essentially useless currently. Of course, once they actually join the army, they're going to be quite handy to have. But for the moment, they're just going to be collecting relics, and that gives Numidan not a whole lot of space to make waves across the map. Gives Puppy Paw a little bit more time to just bide here. But we do now start to see those warrior monks joining the army. He's picked up 2 relics so far. Last 2 relics out on the map. 1 safe, 1 contested. And Puppy Paw heads back to base. Slight score advantage for him at the moment. We'll check in with the economies and see how they're doing. 675, 700, 1400, 1450, 300. So we're talking about 1750 for Numidan. Worry about that economy a little bit later as we've got ourselves a bit of a fight coming on. Manages to get the relic. You can see the fadeaway shot right there from the archers. And now, Puppy Paw able to kite away. But at the end of the day, Numidan's got what he came for. He got the relic. That's all that matters. Now, where does Puppy Paw go from here? Because the horse archer numbers are continuing to build. And you've got to be really careful with these horse archers. One of the things that I guess is quite scary is once they get to a critical mass, they can start to one-shot your Royal Knights, especially when you're in the feudal age like this. So I think Puppy Paw's got to look to try and prioritize getting up to Castle Age, needs to prioritize getting veterancy on these Royal Knights, and especially looking to get +2 ranged armor. So hopefully we see him look to do that sooner rather than later. But have a look at this. He's got 5 knights in queue. A huge amount of cav in queue here. If he cancelled those knights, he's got enough to age up. That's how many units he's got there ready to roll. But a bit of a farm transition coming through. Let's compare the pair now for the economies. Talking 800, 1500, 2100, about 21, 2200, somewhere in that region. Meanwhile, for Numidan, you're looking at 9, we'll call it 1000, 1900, and 2400. So Numidan actually well and truly ahead on that eco scale, despite being behind 23 relics, and that's, or 23 vills rather. And that's going to be because of the relics. That's going to be because of the high trade house. That's going to be because of your hunting cabins. They are the primary reasons that he's able to maintain that eco lead, even despite being behind 23 vills at this stage of the game. But we're right on board now as Puppy Paw looks to click up to the next stage. It's imperative right now that Puppy Paw doesn't take a fight. He needs to click up to the next stage. He needs to do it quickly, and he needs to make sure that he gets his upgrades in. You can see he's actually going to be going into the Royal Institute, which is an interesting decision. Definitely, to me, indicates he plans to stay a little bit longer in the Castle Age. And this is something that you normally do off 2 TCs. If you're playing into a 2 TC style, you will go into the Royal Institute because you've got a bigger economy, which allows you to create more units, and you can take great control of the map with upgrades available to you in the Royal Institute. Most notably, Royal Biology. Royal Biology? Royal Bloodlines. There we go. We got it. Don't worry. We got it. We got it in the end. Now, he reaches the Castle Age. Let's see what he actually clicks on. He's got plenty of resources. It's going to be veterancy for both of the units. And I wouldn't be surprised to see... Okay, there it is. Royal Bloodlines coming through. So he goes for it almost immediately. I would suspect +2 is going to be... Or +2 ranged armor will be your next upgrade that you see through. But not a lot of food in the bank for him. There's +2 ranged armor now coming through. Exactly as we suspected. Meanwhile, over on that west side, neutralizing sacred sites. You can see he's out on the map here. This is a perfect time for Numidan to actually take a fight against him. The question would be whether he actually wants to take a fight against him at this stage, because while it might be a good time to fight for him, it might not be a good fight, if that makes sense. You know, like it's always a great time to fight against someone if they've just aged up to another age, because you want to try and hit them before their upgrades come through. But if you have a significantly less army, or just a smaller army, or you're fighting into their defenses, then it might be a better choice to just fall back. You know, go back to your home, think about aging up yourself, or getting up another age if possible. And let's check in now on that top side. Look at all of the walls coming across the map right now. Numidan going crazy with these walls, just taking a quarter of the map for himself. Quarter? Maybe even a third of the map, actually. Getting a little bit closer, and he's very intentionally walling in the trade post. Keep an eye on that one, fellas. Horse archer numbers, though, have built up. He's got Boyer's Fortitude in. An extra 25 health for all of your cavalry units. That's 25 for the scouts, 25 for the horse archers, 25 for the warrior monks, 25 for the knights. It's a flat 25 to absolutely everybody. Vanessa Amorossi style. Absolutely everybody gets, maybe even Oprah Winfrey style. Absolutely everybody gets 25 health. All right, well, back towards that front gate. The knights, together with the archers, begin to make their push. +2 ranged attack, not quite through just yet. Cantled saddles coming through as well now for Puppy Paw. Archer numbers looking good. And there's the cav. He makes his way through the wall. But to me, Numidan's army is significant here. You've got to be really careful as well with these knights. The knights now making their way up. Royal Bloodlines is through. They're going to be extra tanky. 310 health. Springald in placement. Now going to be coming online for the Wooden Fortress. He continues to kite his way back into the base. Keep in mind, reinforcements will be almost, well, not almost, they will be instantaneously joining the army, and he's looking very solid on this defense. Meanwhile, the wall, while it has been breached, it's not going to be enough. And Puppy Paw forced away from this army and from this base. More units continue to rally out towards it. You can see he's almost got that one shot through. Maybe another 10 or so, maybe another 5 or so ranged units here, and he will have enough. He could always just mix in a couple of crossbows if he wanted to, but at the moment, I mean, it's always a tough decision on what to play against Horse Archer. Mangonel in the Imperial Age does very well because they're ranged units, so they do clump up effectively, but you can go Horseman, you can try and just do Archer, straight Archer, which definitely works. Arbaletier, another interesting choice because of the Pavis Shield. So the Pavis Shield's going to give you that extra ranged armor and that extra range. So if you can build up a decent amount of Arbaletier, you're going to be taking a lot less damage, even though they technically don't counter the enemy unit because they do bonus damage against heavy units. These are light units, or just simply not heavy units, therefore they don't get that bonus damage. They do counter them, however, with that Pavis Shield and that +2 ranged armor. So you've got +2 plus the 5 armor, so 7 armor on top. And you're only doing 14 damage a tick, so it means that your enemy's doing 7 damage, which, it's not that crazy. It's still, I mean, I don't know if it's really that hard of a counter now that I think about it. Probably not. I think if my enemy was making Arbaletier, I'd probably just avoid whenever they've got their Pavis Shield out. I think that's probably the best way to play. But have a look at this. We're really starting to see these walls go crazy right now between these two players. They are slowly walling off their sides of the map. Are we going to have a wacky wall, a wacky wall game? Oh, look at this. Huge counter from that top side. Puppy Paw looking to try and find a connection. Not going to be able to, as the kiting from Numidan is looking very good. Rus returning to its roots here. Professional scouts, together with the horse archer spam. I feel like I'm watching a game between Hutt and Jaguars. I remember those guys playing it out in the very first season of Age of Empires for two Australian fellas. That's why I remember them so well. And this was exactly what they love to do. But now the horse archer numbers really starting to build up here. 57 archers or horse archers. Huge amount. Definitely enough now to one-shot the veteran Royal Knights. But he's adding even more. And I think this is actually so smart, because what does Puppy Paw even do to counter this? I think Puppy Paw has to go imp here, right? Yeah, I think you have to go imp for mangoes. I don't know how you counter this, because as long as Numidan just continues to kite, I don't think you can deal with it, because he's just going to one-shot all of the knights. And once you're one-shotting knights, it's very hard to fight this. Up to 63 now. The horse archer coming online. The Rus strategy, very simple. I make horse archer. I kill everything. That's what it is. He's going to try and fight up against the archers here. We'll try and use the archers on the front line. You can see him one-shotting out those enemy cavalry units. He's trying to keep them all clustered together, and you can see just how much damage he's able to do from the back line in that pocket. Puppy Paw's absolutely crazy pushing in here under the town center, but he's going to take it in. And he's doing some decent work here. He's popped a whole bunch of horse archers inside the town center. They've all come out. Cav doing a wonderful job of tanking it up down to 45, 42. Numidan, he's not in trouble, I don't think, at the moment, but Puppy Paw definitely getting a better trade than what I think many people would have suspected with these horse archer numbers. But now he's going to look to try and kite and take advantage of his number advantage. Pavis shield could come out right now. This would be a perfect time to deploy, but we don't yet see it. +2 ranged armor is all we're going to have, and now he moves up to point blank range. And at this stage, it almost looked like we've got a staged game. You know how you guys know how, like, if ever you go on Reddit and people are like, I tested 40 horse archers against 65 archers and the horse archers won. That's what it looked like. The way they were staggered there against each other, it looked like you'd gone into a custom game mode and set these guys up and said, all right, you guys face off and let's see who wins. And at the moment, it almost certainly seems to be Numidan. And interestingly, out of everything, it's Numidan going into the Mangonel. I wouldn't have thought he would go the Mangonel. I just thought he'd probably just keep making horse archers. If anything, I feel like adding in crossbows could make a bit more sense, just to get a bit more DPS on the Royal Knights whenever they come through. But for the moment, he's got 4.5 tiles of range, so he can contest that back line. It's the front line that he's going to have more trouble with. All right, well, despite the units often being the focus of our games, there is another game behind this being played, and that is the macro game. And once again, we see Puppy Paw looking to take advantage. To keep moving onto the large gold vein, stepping stone towards the sacred site. The other large gold vein in the north of the map has a couple of stone walls being built around it. Now, keep in mind, Numidan has a lot of gold in the bank, and that is being passively generated. 2.3k gold in the bank. And out of that, there is a huge amount of that that's been generated passively through the hunting cabins, through the Great Wall Gatehouse, or the Great Wall Gatehouse, through the High Trade House, rather, through the relics, and of course, through the Golden Gate. There we go. It was a combination of the Golden Gate and the High Trade House, which became the did I say the Great Wall Gatehouse? I think I said. Anyway, Mangonel coming down. Now, looking to push through. You got to be careful when you've got... As soon as you add a Mangonel to the army, now you've got to protect the Mangonel. And that means that you've got to stand and fight up against these knights. So at this point, Puppy Paw can pretty much just go full knight horse archers. Can go full knight horseman. And he should be okay against this. But I don't know whether he's going to have time or not. The defense is getting worse for wear. Up towards that top side. Sacred sites are being neutralized. You can hear all of them being slowly neutralized. Veteran Royal Knight. Decent little bit of health on it there, but at the end of the day, Puppy Paw does lose out on this battle in the center. Have a look at this, though. Keep with plenty of stables around it. 6 stables, all getting those cheaper discounted units, and it is going to be horsemen that he moves into. Exactly what he needed to move into here. So I think the Mangonel, if anything, is kind of like the indication, like, hey, you need to move into horsemen here. It's a very smart move because the horsemen are obviously going to counter the horse archer, but it's more of a bit of an insight into the direction that the enemy is going to go. Whenever you see that mangonel coming out, that's almost saying like, hey, I think by me going into the mangonel, that's going to do the most work for me. And you can kind of take advantage of that because often where there is smoke, there is fire when it comes to siege. So if you see one mangonel, there's a good chance there's going to be a second or a third one that comes out. So you can completely counter that, neutralize it, and be, you know, completely unaffected by those units. Let's check in with the economies though and see how Puppy Paw is doing to the south side of the map. The farms have begun transitioning. Is at 46 at the moment. 1600, 3100, 4700, 4800, 4900 on that resource count per minute. And we've got 1950. Okay, I'm looking at this going, what's going on here? Because we're nowhere near what Puppy Paw is at. And granted, he's 37 vils up on him. But we should have a couple of mitigating factors. But the high trade house is going to be a big component of why this economy is not looking as healthy as it should be looking. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached Imperial age as the third siege workshop comes down. Now, keep in mind, siege is complemented most commonly by infantry. We want to have a nice bulk of infantry to protect our siege. We want spearmen, we want men-at-arms, some crossbows, some archers, or I was going to say longbow right there, but we're playing as the Rus. But rarely do we want horse archers. It's not that they fulfill the same job, but they sort of that glass cannon back of the corner sort of guy. They're the ones shooting the three-pointers, right? And you don't want everybody on the team to be shooting three-pointers because you're just going to have trouble in the key. And because of that, right now, I don't like this position for Numidan because he's doubling down. He's going into mounted training for his horse archers. He's getting elite horse archers. Now, I agree with that. But the one thing that I'd like to see different from him is starting to switch in that infantry, getting a couple more spears out to help him, even men-at-arms to help him out, just to tank that front line and protect things like these mangonels, because I guarantee you we're going to see more tech coming out for these units. I would suspect we see adjustable crossbars coming out for him, and naturally that's going to make it difficult because he could look to defend that, but still for the moment we only see the one mango, so who knows, maybe we're wrong. We've been wrong before, we'll be wrong again plenty of times, I'm sure. But now those elite horse archers coming forward, they've got their gallop ability, and you can see Puppy Paw now going to be reaching the Imperial age himself. Both players reaching there, and Puppy Paw looking to try and take this fight. I don't think this is the best fight for him. The elite horse archers doing a decent job with the canning. Mango, the kiting rather. Mango moving up, trying to dish out some damage as well. And Numidan just looking to spam. You can see him coming across the map with a lot of units here. Not a lot in queue though. He could really try and make a count, and now he's going to pop that gallop ability. I think all of the units just use gallop at the exact same time. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, we do see incendiary arrows coming through as well, looking to help out these units. So he's very much doubling down on this. Red Palace towards the south. Almost no chance that Numidan is getting through this. Where do you go from here? Well, there are stone walls towards this north side of the map. Another siege workshop with the battering ram in it, ready to break down the enemy stone wall. And a keep coming up on the central sacred site for Puppy Paw. So I think the biggest thing right now for Numidan is just going into those spears. I'd love to start seeing that transition into the spears, and we still don't see it. Look at this. It's full horse archer together with like just a little bit of siege. I think the horse archer is fine. It's just that, yeah, you just really want to try and complement that because, I mean, we've kind of got God vision. We know what's going on. We know that the enemy is going to be going into cav just because, well, we can see, right? Like 23 cav, he's got 4 in the queue. And we kind of suspected that he was going to Puppy Paw? I think Puppy Paw is intentionally deleting these bills. He's just doing it this way instead. Because he's got 147 bills. Right, like this is more than you require in a 1v1. All 3 sacred sites now taken by Puppy Paw. 28 minutes into this game, he is holding all 3. Up towards the north side, the wall has been broken. We see the horse archer standing strong. And now Arbalatrier have been upgraded to elite status. Puppy Paw's horseman, of course, elite status as well. It's a nice combo here. Horseman, Arbalatrier. A really strong combo. Horsemen can be kited by these horse archers. But there's a lot of horsemen. That's the other thing to remember. Very easy to spam these. He's got 10 of them in queue at the moment. Now Arbalatrier moving forward. Do they pop their Pavis? They do pop their Pavis and they stand their ground. They're at 6 tiles of range for the moment. It's a little bit you're kind of working against yourself, right? Like, you've got your Pavis shields on the back with the Arbitria. You want to stand strong and you just want to man fight. Meanwhile, the horsemen are just, all they want to do is they want to dive. So you're kind of going against it. And here, Puppy Paw throwing away more Vils down the reinforcement line of Numidan. Numidan up a pretty significant amount on that military count. Incendiary arrow is now going to be coming through for Puppy Paw. Puppy Paw already got that biology upgrade through, or that, what is it? The French one. The royal bloodlines. There we go. We got it in the end. Let me get some more flying power in me. Give me a second here. That's the spot. That's the good stuff. All right, well, honestly, Puppy Paw should probably start thinking about mangonels himself right now. Big numbers coming out from Numidan. 55. You can see just how fast he's losing them, but he's looking to replace them immediately. 2 mangoes on the defense. Still yet to get the adjustable crossbars upgrade. That's the one that's going to make the key difference here. You can see he's galloping right now, moving at maximum speed with increased weapon range. Kiting back and fighting into the pocket. Nice little splits here from Puppy Paw. Have a look at this. Wonderful concave that he's got going, and now rallying more and more units in. 18 horse archers on the side of Numidan. 6-4 horsemen now coming through for Puppy Paw as well. Continuing to rally down towards his center. Now, when it comes to control of the resources, you'd have to say the advantage currently rests with Puppy Paw. He controls both of the large gold veins. The first of which has just been exhausted. The second one will become his focus shortly. Much more than it is now, definitely. And here are some other upgrades coming in. So we've got fine-tuned guns. We also have Tithe Barns finally on the way. There's biology. Siege works. Are we missing any upgrades at this stage? I don't think so. Just adjustable crossbars, right? That's pretty much it. But it's one of those things where if you're going to run mangonels, you kind of want to go heavy on mangoes. But the interesting thing to me is that Numidan's not really changing the way he's playing. He's only making this unit comp, and he's made this unit comp all game. He doesn't care about your unit comp. He will just stick with what he's going. And now firing off towards that enemy backline, the horse archers make their way up against the Arbitria. Look at those beautiful orange horse archers right there. Slowly working away. God, it's actually crazy. It's actually crazy how good these units are. These are this is wild. Is it that the unit is good, or is it just that he's got really good macro behind this, right? Like, he's got very good economy. Can we do a quick check here? Give me a sec, guys. Hold on. How many are we running? He's running 13 archery rangers, which is pretty much where you want to be at this time in the game. And now beginning to push forward with the siege. Numidan up against Puppy Paw. He's max 200 population against 174. He's going to look to take down this keep in the center. Bill's going to be moving towards it, but hey, with this many bombards, I don't like the odds of keeping it alive. Mango now going to be coming out here as well for Puppy Paw. Definitely the right call for him. I'm surprised it took this long. I'm also surprised not to see adjustable crossbars, though I guess it is expensive. He's got 4.5k in the bank, though. I'm sure you can justify it. Monastery on the front? No. No. Ville's now going to be chased. Mangonel running for dear life right now. He's got another one about to pop out, and he needs to turn around and fight. Otherwise, he's going to lose this position. Second Mangonel gets taken out as well. He gets off a decent shot into the center, but only one of them remains. All the mangoes now taken out, and Puppy Paw looks like it might be over here, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very difficult push to stop. You can see that he's rallying units back, so he knows he can't fight just yet. He needs to take his position. He needs to make sure he does it on favorable terms. He can't take the fight right now. This is exactly what we saw in that last game that we watched, where we saw Yui Metal lose almost his entire base and still resisted taking the fight. Puppy Paw is doing the same thing right now as he continues to lose more and more buildings to the siege of Numidan. Have a look at the upgrades right now for Numidan. No melee upgrades whatsoever. No bloomery, no fitted leatherwork. 0 for 3 on all those upgrades. Doesn't even care if you attack his units with melee. He doesn't care. I think he's playing the mindset. It's simple. I'll just never get hit. Then I never have to worry about it. Horse archers now up towards the north. That wall almost certainly going to be staying alive for the moment. All sacred sites once again taken, but this one in the middle not. Oh no, that was objective completed. I tell you, hey, put that on the wish list. Can we put that on the wish list? Remember we were talking about that earlier? That's on the wish list, right? Get rid of that sacred site message. It's gotta be. All right, well, have a look at how Puppy Paw is sitting with his army. It's kind of dabbled or dangled around all these little edge spots. And now beginning to move forward. He's gone mass arbilatria here with the knights. A huge amount of gold going into this army. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get down and dirty. He wants to come for that siege. You can see how much he's struggling to take out these elite royal knights. They've got so much armor, so much health on them. Behind it, the double mangoes. No adjustable crossbars just yet. But the bombards almost going down. The arbilatria doing a great job of DPSing it down. 52, 51 for Numidan. He's down to 190 population. Meanwhile, on the side of Puppy Paw, he chose to fight or take a delayed fight, and it was definitely the wise decision. We can see right now how well he's pulling out this one. Where's the Pavis shield? Show me Puppy Paw. Hit the Pavis shield. There it is, baby. We get to see that Pavis shield. Picks up 8 armor now up against the 20 damage of Numidan's horse archers, but still he's trying to cut through the numbers. Puppy Paw starting to lose out now. 188 versus 184. Plenty of resources in the bank for Numidan. Puppy Paw holding on for dear life. You can see he's only got 60 gold left. He's struggling to keep it alive. He's going to start trade. He's already started trade. 73 gold. Ladies and gentlemen, Puppy Paw is trading. Now, how do you keep your head above water at this point? I think for Puppy Paw, this is so difficult to hold because Numidan's got all the gold. Now, granted, Puppy Paw's got a little, I say a little bit left. He's got 3.7k left. That's enough for 37 knights. We could do that. That's fine. Oh. Well, I heard you had a horse archer problem. Please tell me you've got adjustable crossbars. He still doesn't have the upgrade. This is madness. The wild thing is, even with 9 mangoes, I think he's going to be fine up against those horse archers. I don't think you need adjustable crossbars with 9 mangonels. I feel like 9 mangonels is just that's where you win. You make 9 mangonels, you lay them down on the table, you say, I've won. I collected them all. Will Puppy Paw be able to put them down on the table in time, though? Numidan with 73 horse archers. A huge amount of cav here. We want him to try and split this up. Is he going to spot it out? He sees 1, 2 mango shots come in. Keep goes down over on this west side. You can definitely feel Numidan a little bit uncertain about the direction. He spots them all out. He says, oh Lord. Oh Lord, he coming. Mango numbers. Scary right now. But who needs adjustable crossbars, right? When you've got this many mangoes, you don't even need adjustable crossbars. This is a whole nother level. And now the splits coming through for Numidan in the north. He's going to try and hold on for dear life. He's working down these mangoes. First one, second one. Cannons firing off towards the front. Not able to get the one shot off just yet. There's the first one that goes down. Numidan down to 56 horse archers, 180 population. Compared to Puppy Paw, still max, 197. Slowly but steadily, Pavis shield now coming out. He's holding the line. Mangonels. How many mangoes has he still got? He's still got like 6 back here. 6 mangonels, still no adjustable crossbars, by the way. I'll keep you updated on the adjustable crossbars. Every minute of the game, we will do an adjustable crossbar check, also known as an ACC. That's a file type. I think, is it an Apple file type? I think it's an Apple audio file type. ACC. Gosh, file types. I was literally talking about it with my dad this evening. I was like, because my dad was telling me that on the TV they display MPEGs, and I'm like, Dad, you know what an MPEG is like? That's just a file, right? Like it's a file type. It's like saying that they're displaying JPEGs on the TV at 60 JPEGs a second. I was gonna say 60 JPEGs a minute, but it'd be a little bit more of a slideshow then. Then we'd be talking about .ppt files. Is that what they are? PowerPoint? I think that's what they are. I hope that's what they are. It's been a while since I've done a PowerPoint. Last time I did a PowerPoint was in 2003, and I hate to admit, but it wasn't for free. All right. 4 bombards now out for Numidan. That's an everyday. What song is that from? Everyday Normal Guy? Joe. Hey, it's from Joe someone. I'm just a regular everyday. I don't want to get DMCA'd. All right. ACC check. No, wait. ACC check wouldn't make sense because then we'd have the ACCC. And that's definitely what us Australians want to avoid. Actually, no. We probably want that. That's the Anti-Corruption and something commission? We want more ACCC. All right, horsemen. Getting caught a little bit out of position here. Horsemen. Horse archers. Knight numbers starting to look good here. Puppy Paw on the south. Look at the amount of units he's got ready to go. Ready to roll. Meanwhile, for Numidan, he's maxed 46 horse archers. I feel like, if anything, Numidan wants to avoid this fight so that he can fight into the army of his enemy and then get the reinforcements closer to home. Ville's going to be brought forward as well. Cannons falling back away from the front of the fight. Meanwhile, Arbitria and the Elite Knights. Slowly, the Villes looking to work down the bombards. Not going to be able to find it. Down to 62. Numidan running, racing back towards that base, kiting towards those keeps. Slowly working down the enemy threat. The Puppy Paw still 194 population, 197 on the side. Big mango shots from Puppy Paw down the line towards Numidan. A second round coming off as well. He's looking to try and make decent connections. All sacred sites held. Numidan down to 40. Huge amount of units lost. Look at the amount of bodies on the floor right now. He has well and truly let them hit the floor. Big mango shot right there. Wow, talk about meat grinder. And now the horseman numbers start rounding over towards that east side. More reinforcements coming through. They're going to get caught up on these wooden fortresses. Puppy Paw needs to round the troops, needs to connect, needs to bring everybody together, consolidate forces. Still not a lot of difference between these two when it comes to population space. 169 up against 169. It's even Stevens. It's rare that you get to see that, but it is a sight of beauty. And now we check back in with Puppy Paw. How's the economy doing? Well, the economy's doing great. How's the trade doing? Probably a more pertinent question. Let's check in. He's only got 11 traders. 11 traders. That's it. That's decent. Meanwhile, for Numidan, he had 3k gold in the bank. I don't know where it all went. Oh, he traded it all. He traded it all. Did he use his tickets? He's already used all the tickets. So he's trading the gold out for wood. He really likes horse archers. He has got an absolute horse fantasy. So I take that back. Sorry. He likes horse archers. Let's just leave it at that. Let's not go any further. We don't need to involve fantasy games in this. It is, this is a historic game, non-fiction. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, Numidan. He's looking for a chase through the base right now. Keep in mind those town centers going to be firing extra hard. Meanwhile, over towards the west side, the Knight's going to find plenty of vills here. Numidan got a lot of vills to lose. Look at the difference between the two. Up to 69 vills taken out so far in this game. Puppy Paw down to 99, 81. 20 vills the difference between them. Still losing out more and more. Numidan diving. Army been collected. 150 population for him. Up against 200. Puppy Paw very swiftly turns the tide of battle. A whole lot of units in queue. Rallied out all towards the front. Units in the back are cleared up. All the units now moving towards this central location. Arbitria together with the horsemen. A couple mangoes in the back. Grand around the side and an old rocking chair here. As Puppy Paw is looking to clean the house of Numidan, working down these fortified palisade walls. Horse archers, it's rare you get to see them run around like this, chasing the enemy forces, but Puppy Paw APMing out of his mind right now. You would have to think he's sitting somewhere in the region of 400 to 500. There are units everywhere. Look at these troops right now. It's looking like an expert AI, the way these little squadrons are going out here. Elite Arbitria working down that keep. And Numidan just can't keep up. You can feel it. Numidan is struggling to keep up right now. He is just everywhere, this Puppy Paw. All over the enemy. There's just paw prints left, right, and center, chasing away the bombards. Look at this, more units rallying towards that position. The bombard goes down. He wants the other ones. Will he be able to find it? Arbitria continuing to move up. 200 out of 200 versus 177. It's still, Numidan's still in this game. He wants to consolidate and fight a man fight and just kite his way through it. But now the horse archers are grouped together. How many do we see on our screen right here? 87 on our screen right now. That's all 87. No units in queue right now for Numidan. Where does he go from here? We're right on board with him. Look at the line of sight on the minimap. He feels boxed in. No vills at the back either. 82 vills for the moment. Where is he? He's focused towards the front. Sees the enemy troops. What's his win con here? He wants to work down the enemy. That's the only way that he can win, but he's struggling with wood. He's got no wood left. Look at this. Where does he take the wood from? It's got to be up here in the middle. And now the horse archer numbers really building. He's on 73, 27 in the bank, looking to come through. Bombard's going to get chased down once again, doing a good job of kiting out. Manages to take out those horsemen and still working his way from the front line. Numidan holding 167. You can see he's got no wood. He's got no wood. He's got plenty of reinforcements coming through. But after this, there's no more. And now those mangoes firing off, do a little bit of an ACCC, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's through. Adjustable crossbars is in at the 44th minute into the game. Abalatreya firing off. It could be the difference. You can see the damage as it comes down on top of these enemy units. He's not focusing down the mangoes. They've got an extra little bit of range, an extra burst attack, and big damage comes in. Little bit more. Slowly working it in. Oh, wait. Oh, he's down to one. This is over. This is over. It's over. There's no... How do you get back in? You can't get back into this. You don't have the wood to get back into this. You don't have the wood to defend your own wood. And how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck was Numidan? And the answer right now is it's a lot of wood, but unfortunately, it's not enough. He quite literally ran his entire side of the map dry of wood. And in the end, he's left with nothing. Except for 47 horse archers. It's quite a fair bit. It's still a lot. It's more than enough. What would have happened if he just made a single spear? I don't know if spears would have changed this, though. I mean, Puppy Paw just played it very well. And Puppy Paw's running infinite cost units, right? He's got... These are food and gold, and these are only a little bit of wood compared to the horse archers. Horse archers, you're running a huge amount of wood. I mean, not really. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Puppy Paw is victorious, pulling out the W today. Of course, Numidan played incredibly well, so... Shout out to him, but at the end of the day, go check out Puppy Paw, an incredible player. I'll leave a link down in the description to where you can watch him, and that is another banger on the list of 2025.